everybody. It is Nile Hesson here. This is something different. This is something that I've never done before, and I want to do and try and see if this ends up working. So, if you guys do not know, I am a pitcher at Saracoso Community College in Ridgecrest, California, and currently am playing summer baseball. Normally, after bullpens or pitching outings, I write a written analysis of my pitching outing, go over some positives, negatives, all that good stuff. And then after that, I look at some film and whatnot. But I decided, you know what? I'm going to do both. I'm going to do a written analysis and then a video analysis of my pitching and of my last outing or bullpen or whatever, and just kind of see how it goes. So I have a piece of paper in my hand from the written analysis of my bullpen. I'm going to run over the notes that I have there, and then we're going to go ahead and look at some pitches here. We got about 4 minutes of game film. I'll probably go over some of that game film, quickly, and then others I'll really break down, especially at the mechanical standpoint. So, without further ado, let's go over my written analysis for my summer game number two, or start number two, I should say, for June 27th, 2022. Let me start off by saying this was by far the best outing that I've had and the best I've felt in a long, long time. With that being said, I'm only going to focus on the positives and not the negatives because there aren't really any negatives besides using my legs. Everything was in command and effective, so I'm thrilled and excited, so let's break it down. So some positives. No walks. This is by far the most impressive thing I took away from my start yesterday. I have struggled throughout my career with control and throwing too many pitches, which in turn tends to lead to more and more walks, which is always never good. I was also impressed being down 3-0 and I believe two batters and being able to bounce back and get a strikeout and furthermore a ground out. No walks also can translate to fewer hits, which then leads to fewer runs, which was the case for me today. My changeup. I didn't throw it as much as I probably should have, but the changeup today was amazing for the most part. I think I finally started to realize how to throw it and how I can make it effective and hopefully use it effectively, that I'm able to use it a lot in my arsenal. When hitters face me twice or even three times in the lineup, having this pitch established will help with keeping them out of balance. The inside pitch. Another thing I've struggled without through my career is throwing inside, particularly to righties. Today, rather, I was finding a lot of effectiveness in throwing it inside, even more so on two strikes, and raising it even higher to make it a difficult high and inside pitch to hit. I'm glad I'm starting to use this more effectively as it provides me with a way to throw it outside now as well. My cutter. A lot of four seamers and cutters today, and that was a really good combo. The cutter was very effective in keeping the hitters off balance, which again is very good. I also threw it in a lot of three ball counts, especially with a full count, and that was important too, because hitters were most likely expecting a fastball. The velocity was down about 7 miles an hour from my fastball, which is very effective, but I'd like that to overall be at a 4 to 5 mile an hour difference, so it has my strength and accuracy towards it, and isn't dropping or slowing down like a slider. 3-2 full count strikeouts. Again, I didn't panic like I sometimes do, and I was able to throw strikes on 3-2 counts to either strike somebody out or get them out in general, whether that's either ground ball or a fly ball. What I find even more impressive was the fact that on all but one of my 3-2 pitches, I threw cutters and one slider compared to just all fastballs, which again messes with timing and shows effectiveness and willingness to throw off speeds in crucial situations. If I can continue to do that with that pitch, I'd be scared as a hitter of what's to come. Accuracy. I didn't walk anyone, which helps with accuracy, but even some of the balls I had were just missing or not even missing at all, causing me to feel pretty good about all my mechanics and my release points, all positive steps in the right direction. Fastball velocity. I want to stress that I am not too concerned about this, and you shouldn't be either, but it's worth noting that I was sitting around 83 to 84 consistently, plus hitting 85 a couple of times. I know there is still lots of room for improvement on that, plus the ability to use my legs more, and so it gives me reassurance when I'm hitting spots and throwing decent speed on where I can go. And then a side note, just the lower body. Just a quick note, while pitching, I thought for the most part that I was using my lower body effectively, in the moment. Rewatching my film, that wasn't really the case. I'm going to start new drills to try to see if I can wrap the corner around that and find ways to be effective while doing that and see where it goes. Closing. My stat line was 6 innings pitched, zero, maybe one earned run. I just genuinely don't know if it was an earned run or not. Zero walks, 4 hits, and 8 Ks, which is very good from where I once was. Not only were my stats good for the most part, but the feeling of my pitches and how my body was moving slash operating was also very clean, which is a positive step forward. My next relief outing or bullpen will be on Thursday, so going to try to continue with my progress and see where I can be and see how far I can go with success. So, like I said, guys, that was my written breakdown of my summer game in this game, obviously. And if you guys would like to see a copy of this, I will probably link it from now on in the description down below. With these summer copies, I actually copy and paste them onto my Snapchat stories, so it's easy for people that have my that join my PO lifestyle story um, to read it, and it becomes more accessible and all that jazz. So for those of you, whether you're, my coach or anyone that just wants a written analysis, I will be the first to say my grammar has always never been good. So I tried the best with all that punctuation and good stuff. But nonetheless, the moral of the story is, it's up there for availability, but also I wanted to make these video breakdowns so I can kind of go over my outings and then kind of go from there. With that being said, let's take a look at some of the video here on my outing. So I'm just going to go over some pitches here real quick. Just kind of go through my progression and just kind of show I have both good pitches and bad pitches, and I'm going to try to go and break down each one. But let's first take a look at this first pitch here. Pretty good form, pretty good delivery. The cutter right there, low and inside. Very effective pitch for me right there. Like I said, for the most part, my balance point and all that stuff look good. Sorry, I'm using iMovie because that's where I edit my other YouTube videos. So it'd be a little bit hard to see in the corner if you could tell. But overall, pretty good release point. And balance, wind up. You see how I kind of got that little drip drive right there. Um, and obviously good throw. Something else I did notice too about this outing is my front leg was not very strong. It kind of looks weak. So let's take a look at this next pitch. Specifically looking at that front leg, you see how it kind of bends right there? Let's take a look if you can go back a little bit. It's going to be kind of hard to see, like I said. It's because it's in the corner. But right here, when we land, it looks like it's kind of soft. You see how, let me try to do like a quick freeze frame here. Okay, you see how that front leg right there is a little bit bent. My back leg doesn't look like it has too much drive or push. That's something I want to work on and something I want to fix down the line because that's where I get a lot of your power, especially on that front leg when your whole body is twerking and turning for it. So as you can see there, kind of straight, kind of not. Um, and then the pitch right there in the outside corner just missed. That was one of those situations that I mentioned with my balls. Um, some of them were, strikes or should have been strikes. Nonetheless, they were good located balls. So I think that was a cutter, if I'm not mistaken. Let me try to see if I can. My cutter and fastball look very similar. It looks like a cutter. The only difference you would see really is on a radar gun from this kind of standpoint. But yeah, let's take a look at the next pitch. 2-1 count here. Missed outside. That was just bad. Right here is where I have some of an issues with. Let's go ahead and go through that pitch again and just look at my release point. Normally I release far, so let's see. Okay, so right here, a little bit behind, but see where my release point is? See how it's kind of up and to the left? I can't have my release point right there, and that's why the pitch went high and outside. If I bring my release point to the front of my body, in other words, out in front of me, that's usually where I have more effectiveness. So when I threw that pitch right away, I instantly looked to see when I was reviewing this film here right now with you guys was to see where that release point was because that is a factor for a lot of my release points for it going to the outside. So that was most likely why that ball was high and outside right there. That's a good pitch right there. Foul ball, I believe that was a four-seamer. Nothing too much behind that. That was probably 82. But mechanically, I look pretty good here. Really liking my balance point and upper body. You see right here, if you can tell, that's pretty high. And then right here is where I slow it down and kind of drift down the mound. I would have liked to have done it a little better there, but still not bad. Front leg. I mean, the front leg for most of these pitches are exactly the same. But it was a good located fastball on a 3-1 or a 2-1 count. I can't see. I have to look and see. 3-1 count, you got to throw a strike. A little bit on the outside corner, a little middle out. That does the job there. It's a good pitch there. Take a look here. The next one. That was a beautiful cutter right there. You see a little fist pump by me there because I believe it was 3-2. That was the next pitch, obviously, and I threw in my 3-2 cutter. It was the first one of the day, and I was very proud of myself. Just look at the movement on this ball. I'm going to play it in fast motion again so you can see that. But just look at that movement on that ball right here. Just a nice cutting action right back into the heart of the plate. He has no chance. Beautifully right there. This is a perfect video to look at my mechanics. We're going to skip that one for now because at the end I have a similar video. This one's not going to be too much forward. This is just kind of seeing where my leg and my stride and all that are, as well as some location. See how it's kind of right there. Missed it high and away. Be curious to see release point again, where that's at. Again, it's kind of higher. It's hard to get it exact right now. Release point is kind of higher though. So difficult right there, but yeah, no, it's not bad. It could be better. Just a little bit miss. It's still a good pitch, relatively. That one was a good cutter in the dirt. I had him swinging at that one. That was a very good pitch for me. Finally, a nice pitch in that at bat. I do remember. Release point looks good. See how my body. Try to see if I can, like right here, if I can instantly pause. See where my hand is releasing? I know the ball has just left my hand, so it's not necessarily in my hand. But if you see where my ball is releasing, that is exactly where I want that. My hand is in front of my body compared to the side, and that's why I threw it in the dirt or lower, but it still did the job. So good pitch there by me. Yay me! Again, good fluid mechanics right there for the most part. Some of these are close-ups, obviously. I'm just kind of showing you these in fast motion so you can see, because when I get to the end there, I'll kind of break down my mechanics more. It's from the same at bat, but for some reason the clips got switched. I don't know why, so don't ask me. Balance point here in the stretch actually looks really good. Um, Maybe I should bring my toe in a little bit to my body because my toe's kind of just hanging out there. Um, let's see, drive, good drive, and yeah, for the most part, pretty good. Um, I don't remember what this pitch is, but it looks like I have a good release point, so we'll see. And just miss. So it wasn't too far high and outside. Again, release point in front of me. Nobody's even remotely covering second base, so I kind of have to watch the batter there. Normally at the runner on second, I like to do a balance point, and one of those stretches. When I'm got a runner on first, I'll typically like to do a slide step, just because with the runner on second, it's harder to steal third compared to second. So we'll see here. Also, take a look at this beautiful bar player we're playing at New Legacy Sports Complex in Mesa. Definitely check it out. Again, interesting. I want to add here for the stretch. If you guys can see, it's hard to tell, but my feet are very close together. I started doing this with all this front foot in front of the back foot because if you start close together and you lift your leg up, your feet are so close together in a way it forces you to momentum forward automatically. Because if you try to go straight up, you're going to be unbalanced. So I've been testing this out, especially now is the time to do it with being in summer and whatnot. But I wanted to kind of look at and see how that, stretch position would look, and it looks pretty good. Getting some momentum to the plate, if you guys can tell, after I check this runner down. And boom, right there. Beautiful pitch, another cutter. Threw a lot of fastballs and cutters today, which is really good. Let's take a look at the next one here. That was just a high fastball. I believe it was 2-2. I would like a little bit more of a competitive pitch. That wasn't very competitive. Like a little bit more of a competitive pitch in that one, but two strikes can't throw me anything pretty. Yeah, release point. You see how my release point is kind of back here, pretty much as far as I can go. Um, so yeah, definitely need some improvement there. Let's take a look at just some of these in fast motion, just kind of seeing where we're at. Relatively, for the most part, pretty good. Foul ball there on 3-2. I think it's the same batter, 3-2. I think I go with the cutter here. Nope, fastball. He actually, yep, hit that one down the line. That was a very good piece of hitting by him. I wanted to leave that in there, just because, it's not necessarily great for the highlights, but just shows highs and lows. I think for the most part, it was a pretty well executed pitch. The guy was out at third, by the way, on the tag. Good throw there, relay and whatnot. I feel like I couldn't have executed this pitch any better, if I'm going to be honest. A 3-2 fastball away, he just got his the barrel of the ball, and that happens. Like, let's see. I mean, it's not really left middle. It's kind of left out. Maybe a little bit middle. Let me see if I can get a freeze, like, right here, just to see. That was a little late. Okay, he drives it to the right field, and it literally hit the foul line. So I think I left it a little bit middle out, but still, I think it's a relatively competitive pitch. Like I mentioned, he was ended up tagged out, which is huge, but that happens, I guess. It's a good miss there. Release point out in front. That's another good miss. Both that same at bat. Those were close, but you're not going to get the calls. It's just the more important thing. Good cutter right there in 2-0. Beautiful pitch, 3-1. That was a 3-1 cutter. It just cut way too much in front of the plate, but kind of having him see high with those first two fastballs away, it really actually helped tremendously in setting up that lower part of the zone. So that was a big one right there. I was very pleased with that. Again, I swing at a 3-2, or 3-1 rather. And then 3-2, I think we come back with a cutter right in the outside corner. Look at this pitch right here. Again, I'm not going to try to slow it down just because it looks so good if you're specifically looking at the cutting. But watch the cutting right here. Boom. Right there, last second outside corner. He's gone. Beautiful pitch on 3-2. If I can get that on 3-2, I'm going to be pretty lethal. Good pitch. That was a cutter again. I don't really think I got any changeups right here, if I'm being honest, just because my dad either did not film those or I just, for some reason, took them out. That was a cutter right there on 0-2. It went inside perfectly. Lefty, lefty. Immediately, I'm trying to go establish the outside corner, which sounds weird because I think you should establish the in. But if I get him to reach out on a cutter or a slider, or even a fastball rather, he's expecting it in a way to be outside. So even if it comes in, not entirely in, he's going to look really stupid, hopefully, on the inside pitch. Also, look at that pause right there. It was messing with my timing a little bit. Just watch the pause a little bit. Kind of a little pause right there, not too insane. That cutter was ended up being hit just to the second baseman for a nice out. This is an at bat I want to focus on before we take a look at the two mechanical ones here. I'm sorry, this is a little bit long. I just kind of wanted to break this down. This guy, I'm not trying to be mean. Obviously, he's very short compared to a lot of other hitters, and for some reason, I've had an issue throwing to shorter hitters my entire career. What I wanted to do here was establish a cutter on the outside corner, and I believe this is the first pitch, and I threw it way too far outside. Completely outside right there. And I instantly signaled the catcher, that's my bad. Because I want to start at middle in. If you have enough cut on it, it should land at the outside corner. I think I come back with a fastball here, if I'm not mistaken, on the corner. Yep, fouls it away. So now I got him on two pitches outside. Immediately, I go back to an outside pitch, because this is 3-1. On the 2-0, or sorry, 2-1 rather, I threw inside and it was too far inside. So now I'm kind of playing like a little cat and mouse game, in my opinion. I've thrown it outside, I've thrown it inside. Now it's 3-1. I have to throw him a strike. I don't remember what I throw here. Balance point looks a little bit weird. I think that should be a little more stable. If you look at my leg right now, it's like I'm doing a crane. If it was a little more straight, I think it maybe that's something we can look at. But let's see what I do here on 3-1. Good. That was a cutter right there. So I did go with the cutter there, which is smart because he's probably expecting fastball on 3-1. He knows I got to throw him a strike. So now it's 3-2, and I think I go back to the cutter. I should have gotten fastball in because he gets the end of the bat and actually beats his out for an infield single. Very tragic, but overall good pitch selection and pitch delay. Just wasn't the success that I was looking for on that one. Moving in here to one of the final at bats here. Got to establish the outside. Does so. Tries to come back here. Inside good. Now I'm down, or I'm up 0-2. Go with a little quick. Try to get him messed up with his timing a little bit. I'm going to go right back to it because that last pitch was a fastball. Try to go change up there. It didn't work. And then go back to the normal. That was actually high and inside. Relatively, it was high and inside. Let's take a look here again. It definitely was high, and it looks a little bit inside. It's kind of hard to tell from that angle, but nonetheless, I get him to be jammed up there. Let's take a look at these couple pitches here before we go to the final part. 0-0 count, no drive right there. That's something I want to look at. It's a strike, but look at this, like no drive. I just stand up and I go, literally. I don't like sit back on my back leg. I stand up and go. Something I need to look on for future. Just missed the outside corner. That's a good pitch. Again, no drive. I don't know what I was doing this better. I just was not driving, like at all. You see how there's no upper body drive. That's a good backdoor slider though. 3-2 count, and I get him out on a cutter. And that was my innings rather. So let's take a look at this real quick. Just two videos here. I know this has been a little longer than I was expecting. The two videos here, let's see how this works. Good drive, better landing. Look at that back leg. So I've landed with my front foot and my back leg's kind of standing straight up. If I'm going to do that, I need to almost push off the rubber. My back toe is almost in line with the rubber, and therefore I have no drive. Follow through, kind of off balance. I'm on my tippy toes, which I'm not trying to do. I'm trying to have that foot flat if possible. And I didn't tuck my glove in, which is something that I want to do in the future. Let's take a look at it one more time. This is a different pitch. This is from the stretch. Quick drive. Look at that front leg right there. I think that's an appropriate one to end on. That was the definition of me not being on my front leg. I have somehow no strength right there by doing that. And yeah, so that's going to be it for this pitching breakdown here. I appreciate you guys if you listen to it. It was just kind of something to do and a way to break down my mechanics. Until next time, I will talk to you guys later, hopefully in my next start. Peace out.